get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I'm drinking my usual Dr. Pepper Cream Soda mixed with Crown Royal Vanilla. And tonight's episode is sponsored by Joe Shakinab and Shakinab.com. Go visit Shakinab.com for services, monthly updates, and contact information. Once again, visit Shakinab.com, promoting leadership and scholarship. Man, listen, man, I hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I did, man. I watched WrestleMania. WrestleMania was really great this year. I could talk about on that subject, but there's something that we're going to talk about tonight, and we're going to talk women's college basketball. Really, just women's basketball in general. First and foremost, before I get started with women's college basketball, I just want to say congratulations to the men's UConn Huskies, man, for winning the national championship. Congratulations to you guys. Even though that not that many people watched it, y'all were kind of on the back burner this year, but congratulations to you guys. Now let's get to the topic everybody's been talking about for the last few days. LSU, Iowa, national championship game. And LSU Tigers, national champs. The women have captured the national championship, 102-85 over Iowa. Reason why we're bringing this up, because to me, it wasn't controversy. You know, if you're a ball player like me, you know, trash talking goes both ways. But they made it a big deal out of it. And, you know, we can always look at the negatives, but I'm going to focus really on the positive side of things. But just to give you guys, for those who don't know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Angel Reese from LSU, you know, first off, we got to start saying, you know, women basketball players, men basketball players, they hoopers. They all hoopers. So, you know, if you're in any sport, trash talking goes, right? I don't care if it's basketball, baseball, even like you have softball, you have football, you know, trash talking, it happens, right? In any sport. So you already know how it is, right? So Angel Reese pretty much, one thing I like, she did the Steph Curry championship, you know, pointing at the ring, you know, like, yeah, we got this, right? But she did the John Cena, you can't see me at Caitlin Clark from Iowa. And it got a lot of backlash. You know, people were calling her she's not classy. That was a classless move, all of that. I said, first off, y'all ain't say nothing to Caitlin Clark when she did that in the previous game. You know, it's the thing about it. If you're going to talk trash, understand that it's going to happen to you, right? Every play, it happens to everybody, right? It wasn't like she did a choke sign. It was like Reggie Miller did to the Knicks in the 90s. We all knew he did it to Spike Lee. He pointed it at Spike Lee, right? You know, that's who he was really going after. But she didn't do none of that. She didn't throw up middle fingers and nothing. She basically did what Caitlin Clark did, and she got backlash over it. over it. To me, I think everybody wanted. We could bring in the racial aspect of it. There were some people that wanted Iowa to win for obvious reasons. Me personally, I would first off, I was going to say I was wrong. I had South Carolina winning the national championship, but Iowa took them out. But LSU won. Congratulations to Iowa, LSU. Iowa had a great run, yeah, but in the words of Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. So it was. They talked about that, right? Then you have a lot of people who have never played sports commenting and talking about, oh, she took away from the team success, winning the championship and all that stuff. No, she didn't. She did what athletes do. Because we don't know what was going on in that game. Because when you're watching it on TV, which most people did, you don't hear what's going on that court. You don't know what's being said. You don't know the little, if you might throw an elbow, referees might not see it. The camera crew will catch it, but the referees won't see it. A lot of that stuff was going on. So they were pretty much coming after Angel Reese about that. I feel like that was unfair because you didn't do that to Caitlin Clark. And we all know why. And what I hate the most is that we want to pick and choose how we want to enforce certain things, right? Like if y'all gonna go after Angel Reese about that, y'all need to go after Caitlin Clark about that in the previous game. Y'all didn't. So, I personally loved it. I loved every second of it. And to me, this is why I want to focus on the positive side of things. For the longest time, you heard about women's basketball not getting the recognition, they're not getting the eyeballs, they're not getting the headlines, they're not getting all of these things, right? Well, this right here was talked about for last couple of days. Okay, this is basically was the number one headline. This is all people were talking about, right? To me, this is more of a positive thing, right? Because when you look at the Iowa's coach, she responded like she didn't think nothing of it because she knew she would understand the backlash time about, oh, that was classy. But then when it came to your player, it's not. So the Iowa coach didn't have a problem with it. It's these punk ass, non-athlete punk ass people that have a problem with this stuff. I personally don't have a problem with it. And not only that, but I also believe this. This is what women's basketball needed. Whether it's in college, whether it's the WNBA, I think this is what they need for people to realize that they're athletes too. We could throw the whole gender thing out the window, right? They're athletes. They want to be seen, okay? This right here, and you got to remember, I think both of them are coming back next year. So why not? I mean, if they play each other in the regular season, I don't know what the schedule is going to be like, but they should, because this is going to get a lot of people's attention. This is what women's basketball need. They need the attention. However you get it, you got to draw them in. When you look at the NBA, yes, you have the storylines, you have all this stuff going on to where people are drawn in. Not so much the season. I mean, listen, a lot of people are turned off by the NBA because we could talk about, even though they got a new CBA that's going to kick in effect next season, we could talk about that on a whole different show. With this makes me, like me as a basketball fan, makes me interested in seeing what's going to happen next. Right? And listen, you got two talented teams. I mean, there's more talented teams. I mean, obviously, South Carolina is in there, with the rest of them, and there's more talented teams in women's college basketball. But I think this is what is needed, right? Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Why not, build this thing up? This is your platform. This is your chance now. Take this and run with it. right? I don't want to compare this to Magic and Bird, but in a sense, it's almost like that same feeling because the NBA was a dying league. That league was just like, oh man, that's his reputation and everything like that. Two guys, complete opposite, come into the NBA. Did race play a big part of this? Absolutely. But what made it more both these guys were winning championships, MVPs. When you're talking about rivalries, right? When you're talking about these rivalries that goes on in sports, whether it's the Yankees and the Red Sox, or you have the uh who else is out there? You have like the Lakers and the Celtics, whether it was like Bill Russell versus Will Chamberlain, Magic, um, Bird, you have those type of rivalries. Um, is what is needed, right? Duke, UNC, college, you talking about college basketball, Duke, UNC, probably the most prolific basketball rivalry in all of college sports, right? So I think this is what they needed. I think now is the time that you should build on this. This is the momentum that could jumpstart all the eyeballs coming towards women's basketball, right? And the thing about it, Caitlin Clark, I mean, listen, if y'all have not seen her play, which if you're a basketball fan, you know who she is. I know you've seen highlights, but if you haven't seen her game, absolutely amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. she's that talented, all right? She is that talented. But let's just be honest. You got Angel Reese, who was at Maryland first, transferred to LSU, wins a national championship. Now all this attention out. I never understood the backlash of the stuff that she was getting, but I think now she probably loved this role that she's in. Because I think what the women's college basketball didn't have is a villain, right? When you think about all the great stories, they had a great villain. Even if you go to the men's college basketball, right? Go to men's college basketball. Christian Laettner was the villain in college basketball, right? It was. I mean, let's just be honest. When you're talking about the villain, we're not talking about the good guy. We're talking about the villain. Christian Laettner was that dude, but he also could play. Now, he played in the league. I think it was an all-star maybe once, but he was more known as a great college player. He was a decent NBA player. This what can happen. I think, to me personally, women's college basketball, this women's basketball in general. I'm pulling for it. I'm looking to see what's going to happen next with women's college basketball. And I also want to see what's going to happen in the WNBA. Because if I'm somebody on the executive level in that league, I'm saying this garnered a whole bunch of headlines for a few days. Which in a league like a sport like women's basketball, it doesn't really garner like the headlines at all, right? But this is, right? Because you have I think people are going to start excelling in like, you know what? I think it's cool to be a bad guy. And you got a lot of people who will cheer for it. When you look at the NBA, they have some bad guys in the NBA. Some, Draymond Green is one of them. A lot of people don't like him. But it is needed. You need to offset. You got the clean cut image in like LeBron and Steph. Jokic. You could put Giannis in there. Giannis, to me, I think he's in a whole different category. But Giannis, definitely. Giannis, yeah, I'll put Giannis in there. And some other players, but you need that bad guy, Draymond Green, Dylan Brooks type of players. And I think this is what they could build off of. And I think it makes for one, it will make a great game. right? Because I always love to see trash talking, right? It gets me interested in watching, whether it's a boxing match, a UFC match, um, a football a football game, basketball game, shoot, even baseball. You know, it makes me want to watch. I think they could build up on this, and I think they should run with it. So while all I mean, listen, even though there was more negative stuff, you know, the First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden wanted Iowa to come by mistake. She said Iowa by mistake. Um, because really, if you're a national champion or you're a world champion, you get to visit the White House. And I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that alone. But this is something that I'm waiting to see what happens next. And I hope the WNBA took a closer look at this and say, who was our villain? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know in the history of the WNBA, you can name a villain. You need somebody to be like, this is the bad guy. This person is going to draw attention to our sport. We look at the history of the NBA, you can look at like the Bad Boys Pistons, right? Even though Joe Dumars is a good guy. Who else? John Sally is a good guy, but it's the aura of the Pistons that made them bad guys, right? That's why they call it the Bad Boys. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was actually a good guy on the Pistons. Outside of that, he became a bad guy, but people loved him, right? People loved him. Shoot, I would throw Charles Barkley in there. Charles Barkley was basically playing the bad guy, but people loved him. You know, his character and everything, people drew into his character. So I think this is what they need. They need a couple of bad guys who can actually hoop, right? Not just out there playing, you know, football out there, but a couple of bad guys that could hoop. And then they could like, now you have this some type of storyline that could build. So I'm just waiting to see what's next with this. And if y'all like me, you should be excited too. You definitely should be excited. So yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on this and we'll see what happens. All right. Once again, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel, Drinking After Dark podcast. Also, man, new episodes are uploading every Friday, so stay tuned for that. And y'all can just make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast for me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you know, for updates and more. Also have new content on the channel. So y'all check that out, man. I have some reviews and things like that. Anything y'all want me to try, drink wise, please comment below. I'll try it. I got some videos that's coming out next couple of weeks. So just let me know, man. Let me know what's out there, man. I try it. I give it my honest opinion, man. I would definitely have some friends with me that's gonna try it. So we'll see how everything goes. All right. Another story that I want to bring up is basically this took place. You know what? I ain't gonna bring it up. No, I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to see how it is. I haven't talked about professional wrestling on my show before, but as a fan growing up watching professional wrestling, there's been some changes recently, and I'm gonna give my opinion on that. Maybe it might be on one of the other platforms, anything like that, or something like that. But eventually I'll talk about it. I'm just gonna wait and see what's what. But in short, WWE was bought by Endeavor, which now owns majority stake of the company, and Vince McMahon basically is back in control, which I'm not a huge fan of. I felt Personally, I felt like Triple H was moving that company in the right direction, and I think it's going to get destroyed again because of ego. That's why I'm really going to spend more time on that. So, yeah, that's something I'm gonna leave alone. I'm gonna leave that alone right now before I get further into it because I want to really talk about it on another episode. So, yeah, man. Listen, congratulations to LSU. You guys are national champions, man. Celebrate, have fun. Iowa, you had a great run. It just wasn't your time. You do have a great talent in Kalen Clark. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I think that's the only great talent they have. All the other players are good, but she's great. She's great. So once again, man, y'all make sure WNBA, man, what y'all gonna do now? I mean, here's the blueprint. And NBA players been saying this for a long time. Been giving y'all advice, you haven't taken it. I think y'all should. I mean, here it is, right here, the blueprint. So we'll see what happens. All right, man. So I just want to thank all you guys for tuning in with me tonight. Please, man, follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Please like and subscribe to this channel. New episodes every Friday. New content will come out pretty much Wednesday, Thursday when it comes out. So y'all stay tuned for that. And please, man, tell your friends and family about this platform, man. I'm doing everything for you guys. I hope I'm bringing you guys some topics. If y'all have any suggestions, y'all hit me up. Till next time, this is your boy Darius from Drinking After Dark podcast, and we out. Peace.
Gotta get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.